I honestly don't have a lot of stories about them, though. I just remember, I have a feeling.
No stories of Aerosmith?
I never worked with Aerosmith.
Or, no, I was just saying names. I don't know who all, I mean, I remember you telling me a story about Young Buck, but we don't have to go.
Yeah, Buck. Buck was a hardworking guy. I liked working for him, but his entourage, I just couldn't, I didn't fit well with that. I didn't feel comfortable with all the people around.
Didn't they bring like weren't they like using a real handgun for their soundtrack?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. So
I can only imagine you're on the other side of the glass.
I was already really uncomfortable with the guns being in the studio anyways. I was not at that time very comfortable with guns. And yes, they were doing that in the mic. I was right in front of the glass, pointed at my fucking head, basically. And I kept telling him, hey, man, can you take the magazine out? He's like, nah, man, it doesn't sound the same. Okay, it's going to sound, pretty bad if you blow my head off. But it was, that was not fun. That wasn't cool. And when I went to his house to do like one session, I never went back. There was guns everywhere. There was guys just calling me engineer, yo engineer, just, wasn't my scene. They actually made a friend of mine dance. They pointed a gun at his feet and told him to dance. That crew. For real. It was not a very enjoyable scene. That does not sound
very fun.
No, it wasn't. It really wasn't. And Mr. Whitey McWhite Suburbia did not know how to handle that at like 19 years old. I didn't know what the hell.
God, you were 19 when you did that?
Yeah, I started in studios when I was 19.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a lot.
That was culture shock. It was definitely shocking. But
why are boys just so mean to each other?
Oh,
I guess
bands.
girls are too.
Bands. Yeah.
But it's a rite of passage. You got to be able to take it,
I got a studio story along those lines.
Yeah. Studio story. Give me studio story.
So this is
We'll close on this.
Yeah. So this is not very exciting, but because it doesn't involve really famous people.
Okay.
But road guys versus studio guys is always a thing, right? Like road engineers, road techs, the guys that go on tour and do touring stuff. Everything from the stagehand up to the guy that's mixing front of sound. It's a totally different world, and it's not the studio. It's like the Marines or the Army grunts, right, against the Air Force that gets to sleep in their own beds every night, right?
Yeah.
And they're both crucial, and they have their own role, but they're very different, and those guys are gruff, man. They're tough to hang out with. So I first started working at Blackbird as a really young guy. I was like 21. Never toured. I'd only worked in studios. Never even went to really college. I went to like a tech school for recording. So my experience with lots of different people was pretty limited at that point, except for Young Buck, because that was enlightening. But these guys, I got a job at Blackbird. I was wiring with them because they were still doing construction, and these guys were tough, man. They were tough on me. They were ridiculously mean. There was one scenario where this guy, I think I'll never remember what the conversation was about, but I like got a little jab at, I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time they're not funny at all, but this one grabbed a hold of him and I got a little jab in, and the guys snickered. There was like 4 other guys at the table, and this guy is, a big, huge road guy. They're typically really big dudes, so they have to be pretty strong. And he got really quiet for like 5-10 minutes. And then all of a sudden he came at me. He was like, listen, you fucking whatever. And he started threatening to bounce my head off the parking lot outside because I was speaking out of turn. Right? Now, what I didn't know there was another wiring guy behind me that was not holding it in very well, because this guy was fucking with me entirely. Like he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it at all. He didn't mean anything. He was just messing with me. I guess they liked me. I don't know. I think they did, but they didn't act that way. This guy, the guy to my right held it for about, I don't know, 40 seconds or something like that before he started falling over. But yeah, that's a studio story. I just, I could never deal with that road guy thing. Anyways, what got me on that? Cut that out. I have no idea what got me on that. It wasn't even that great of a story. It's an interesting memory. It's an amazing place. I have so many great memories there that I still can't remember. Like I said, every time I think about it,
don't worry, I video recorded all of it.
Oh, fuck. The fuck? Fuck. 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 Oh, fuck. The
What are you doing?
Oh, fuck.
And then you tell me, don't do that.
Yeah, there was a video. There was the dildo video that I almost got fired for. That was great.
Well, I didn't know you almost got fired. I'm sorry.
Well, I didn't realize that I almost got fired too. But there is a, the owners of the studio are they want things to stay to a certain level of appropriateness, which is tough when you have young bands in the studio hanging out, which at that time they had mostly country people, which I don't know how that's more appropriate, but anyways. But yeah, that came from the manager at the time, found it on the internet just because he paid attention to what Blackbird was associated with. He emailed me and said, dude, take this down now. Because McBride does the same thing that I do, and he checks and he makes sure that the things that are out there about the studio are good, and if he sees that, you're gone. Like, there's no way. It's a red rocket.
Yeah, we had the story goes, if I can remember correctly, because it all blends together.
It was a dildo in the studio.
Yeah,
I mean,
we were just messing around with
it. It's actually a pretty normal day.
Because
I
I used to work at Hustler at the time, and so
oh, okay.
and so every now and then they'll have to get rid of stuff that's not being sold, and they'll give it off to the employees.
That's what you picked.
I didn't pick it. All right, I was just left with it. All right,
Whatever.
It was like a bunch of DVDs, a dildo, and so we had a little game where we would hide the dildo in like a guitar case or like in the actual acoustic guitar. Yeah. So if you pick up the guitar, what's in here? And you see this fucking red dildo just in the.
Now I really miss the studio. I really do.